Alright, so here's going to be a demonstration for how we do the acetone cleaning. We're going to use this if we have certain glassware that's really dirty and we need to, we can't get inside of it to scrub it out, or maybe the scrubbing isn't working. And it often works well with things that have small necks, because if we just tried to use distilled water, it wouldn't all evaporate out. So we have to use the acetone for that, but we'll show you that when we get there. The first step is to get the nitric acid. This is going to be in the storeroom. We have it here in the acid container. Whenever you're doing this, since the nitric acid is a very dangerous chemical, we have to make sure that we take a partner. So there's my partner, and then you always have to make sure you take the cart as well. As Ms. Parks will probably tell you, because she's probably going to show you this as well, the nitric acid is in this little kind of box look. It looks like it's an ice box, but it's not cold. And we're going to grab it out of here, and we're going to set it on the cart. It's important when you're carrying it to hold it like this with one hand underneath, and you have your finger in the loop. You can't only trust the loop, because one time we had a TA who thought that they could just grab it by the loop and carry it around, but the loop was some sort of faulty glassware mistake, and it ended up dropping, spilling, and very much so damaging his legs. So we're going to take this out of here and turn the light off as we go, making sure we close the door. And it's always helpful to have a hand over the acid as we use the cart, because we see these bumps up here as it turns onto the hard floor. That's never fun. I like to prop the door open, the back door, so you don't have to weave your way through the classroom with whatever way the desks may be arranged. That's kind of, just makes it a little bit easier. You could go through the other door as well. We'll go through the back door here, back into the back room. Alright, and then now we're back to the storeroom, right? So we're going to take the nitric acid here, we're going to set it up where we're going to be working, and we're going to put the cart back. And it's the second important part of this, the chemical we're going to use here, it's acetone. We keep this one in the classroom, but it's down in the flammable cabinet. The flammable cabinet smells really bad. I don't like this. But you'll see on this bottle of acetone, it'll say for cleaning. That's the one we're going to use. You could use the other ones, but we have one specifically designated for cleaning purposes. I'm going to set that up as well. So now we're going to look at what our apparatus kind of looks like. We have two beakers that are labeled. One is for what we're going to put the acetone in, and one is for the nitric acid. And then we have our dirty glassware. This one actually isn't dirty. We don't have any nasty ones because we've already cleaned them all. But if this glassware were one that was dirty, two key components is that it's a thin-necked one, therefore we're going to need the acetone to evaporate it out, and two, we would see little spots on the inside that just putting water in and trying to scrub with a test tube brush or something wouldn't get it off. So there's that. We've got a funnel, because you always pour from smaller to larger, and obviously larger, you gotta make sure we have a funnel there. Distilled water and all our paper towels always. So usually what you first do, you kind of put some distilled water in there. We'll just get enough in here to do what we need. And then the process that you're going to use with all the chemicals here is you kind of turn it on its side and swirl it around so we can coat every surface. We don't need to fill it up by any means, or else that'd be a ton of acid and a ton of acetone. We just kind of need to coat the sides so that we have the chemical reaction happening on all parts. Get that out of there. The first part, we're going to use the nitric acid to clean. So open this. Be careful with this, of course. Again, dangerous chemical. And we're going to pour this into our little beaker here that we have labeled. we really don't need that much. We just need enough that we're going to be able to pour it in and then coat the entire surface. Cap that. Nice and tight, of course. And I always like to do this over the sink just in case anything goes wrong. So I'm going to pour all of it in here. And keep this because we're going to reuse this beaker. Because say you're cleaning 4 or 5 pieces of glassware, it is a complete waste if we're going to, take this acid and then toss it after, or neutralize it after every single glassware. So we can pour it back in there once it's done doing its job here, and then we can use it on the next piece of glassware to do the same thing. So again, I'm just pour it a little down the sink. We're gonna have to neutralize that. Be careful, but just make sure that we're swirling around, covering all facets of the glassware that we're using. We're gonna pour this back down in here so we can reuse that. Now, we still are gonna have, we poured it out, but we're still gonna have some nitric acid in here, so we're gonna, again, use the distilled water to kind of get all the sides in here, and then we'll build it up as well, and then we can do the same process we did with coating. It smells kind of bad, not gonna lie, when you do this, so be ready for that. If you smell something bad, probably doing something right. So yeah, we got enough distilled water. We're gonna go around, we're gonna coat it with the distilled water, just trying to pick up this acid that we have left in here that is still, coating the sides, and try to get rid of some of that. We're done with that, we're just kind of gonna pour that out. Just try to coat the neck a little bit. And that should be good. This is a pretty difficult one to do because it's so big. Most of the time you're not going to clean a flask this big. You'll have the smaller ones that are a lot nicer to deal with, but this is what we're dealing with right now. This is not sticking very well. But then we have the acetone. Add some of that in here. Again, pouring from smaller to larger. We don't need that much again. And the acetone you are gonna see is gonna decrease with every subsequent glassware you pour, because the purpose is for it to stay coating the sides of the glassware, because what it does, its purpose is that it kind of reacts with water and then is much more ready to evaporate. So even in a glassware that's thin-necked, we're still gonna see high levels of evaporation from it. We're just gonna spin this around, see we're looking to make sure that we're coating everything here, and then we can trust that this will again evaporate. And we're just gonna pour this back in here, and then we're good. It's important at this step that we don't pour any more distilled water in here, or else we're gonna undo what we just did with the acetone. We just take it like this, we leave it. I like to leave them out somewhere, and then label them saying that they're airing out, because we can't just put them back on the drying rack, or else somebody's gonna see this and be like, oh, it's a little bit of distilled water in there, I guess I'll just throw it back on the shelf. I like to leave it out, maybe put a sticky note right next to it here that we're done using that, and then we're just letting it for it to air out. Maybe another TA will see that it's dry, and then they'll be able to put it away for you. But until then, that's the process. When you're done with the acid, that goes back on the cart. And if you don't have a partner, like I do, another TA in this hour, you gotta make sure that you ask Miss Spark. She's the only other person who's gonna come with you. And if she's busy, don't do it that day.